Here's one of the most awaited watches of the last few years. I have made countless videos about this watch myself on my channel, and always the same comment comes: when is a 37mm version coming? And here is the 37mm version of the famous citizen Tsuyosa. And in this video we will do a quick review of this now very wrist-friendly watch, and we will compare it with its biggest sibling, the famous 40mm citizen Tsuyosa. As you can already see, there are some differences and there's a lot of similitudes as well. So we will go ahead, and now that we have what we have all been waiting for, a 37mm Tsuyosa, is it the perfect watch or not? Well, we will answer that question in this video. First of all, the most important part, let's go with dimensions. So we do have pretty much a perfect 37mm in diameter. By a height of 11.6, the Tsuyosa was a little bit thicker at 11.8, a very small log-to-log of 41.8, and an end-link to end-link of 46.1. So we will see later in this video how this little boy wears in comparison to its biggest sibling, and that is the key point, because many of us with medium wrists were waiting, and even smaller wrists were waiting for a 37mm, and one could even argue that with these integrated bracelet watches they were bigger, so 38mm might actually be the perfect spot for these kinds of watches. Comparing it with the bigger brother, what changes and what remains the same? As you can see, of course, they have released these Tsuyosa in only 3 colors, these baby blue, pink, and a green dial version, and you have like 1,000 color options for the 40mm. Well, as you can see, the case is pretty much the same, if not identical. Same architecture, of course, much smaller to the scale, but the finishing is the same quality of finishing, although you can see that mine has suffered through almost 2 years of wear and tear. This one is box fresh, so yeah, it looks wonderful. What changes? You can see that, for example, the bracelet will change. I'm starting to believe that the taper, for example, is much more pronounced on this 37mm. On the older one, you have a taper from 20 to 18. Here you've got a 20 to 16. No, it's the same taper. Some things change, and it starts with the bracelet. Notice how the external links appear much bigger and the inner links appear the same size. Are they the same size? Quite possibly. Here they are 9.1mm, and here they are 9mm as well. It is not an optical illusion. In these 2 versions, the middle link is the same size, and it's just these side links that are going to change in size. So the smaller Tsuyosa has a different bracelet look. It looks slimmer, it looks a little bit more streamlined than in here, even though the bracelet slims down 4mm from the thickest point to its thinnest point. The movement stays the same, though. It is still that old Miura 8210. I would have loved it if they would have upgraded to the 83 present in the small seconds, but yeah, they did what they could to keep the price down. And the good thing is that the retail price at least is the same that the one you can find in the original Tsuyosa, so that is good. I've been complimenting citizens for years for not raising their prices, and here they're not raising them, so that is great. For other things that change, check those crowns. You can see that the original Tsuyosa had a tucked-in crown. Like the small seconds, this one has a protruding crown, much more protruding, which aesthetically some will not like, but at least it is much easier to grip than the one on the original Tsuyosa, where it was really hard. You kind of had to tuck your finger underneath the case just to operate the crown here. Even though it is a little bit hidden, it is much easier to operate, as you can see. So great for that. There's still, of course, something that some will not like. There's still the Cyclops. The Cyclops looks perfectly centered, at least on my versions. So from my point of view, that is really good. Finishing is around the same. Still the same 3 levels of micro adjustment. Still the same pressed clasp. But the links are solid, the links on the bracelet, so that's a good point. And for the price and for the legendary status that this watch has acquired, that is great. And always remember that this is less expensive than the quartz PRX and less than twice less expensive than the automatic PRX. Take that into account. On the wrist, that is the most important of all. This looks absolutely great, spot on my 17 centimeter, 6¾ inch wrist. I do really believe that, and this is why we were all waiting for a 37mm watch like this. For me, it's great once again. The 35mm PRX was too small, let's be honest. The 40mm PRX and Tsuyosa is good, but it kind of overhangs a bit, if we are honest. Both of them, the PRX and the Tsuyosa, this is just great. The other thing that changes is the luminescence. Believe it or not, it appears maybe they put a little bit more, or they changed the compound, I don't know. But this looks a little bit more bright and lasting if you compare it here with the original Tsuyosa. Well, what to think of this watch? I believe that it is indeed, if not one of the most important watches of the last years, at least a great evolution and something that the people really wanted. Now, I know that people are clamoring for more colors. Only these 3 colors appear to be a little bit more female oriented, even though this blue, I believe, is really good and can be male or female, and the green, of course, as well. But I do believe that initially Citizen were aiming to appeal to women, and you can see that in the different ads that they have shown about this watch lately. But in any case, I believe that the size is great for both males and females. So yeah, in my book it is great. What I wish they would have changed is of course the movement, but I say that on pretty much all Citizen releases. That would have also allowed for the watch to be a little bit thinner. It is, I believe, a little bit thick at 11.6mm, especially because it becomes smaller, so the smaller a watch, the thicker it looks. So yeah, I wish they had put the 83 in here, because I believe it is a slimmer movement. And of course we can all dream for a Tsuyosa with a 9 series, but that would raise the price. So a great alternative at a great price. I am certain that this will come down in price. You will see in the description links for this watch, so be sure to check those if you're interested. I'm gonna leave you here with the reviews of the other Tsuyosas, these 40mm, and of course the small seconds. Thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you very soon in those reviews. Goodbye.